In 7 days, it's important to understand a few different numbers that can influence your gameplay. For example, level, game stage, trader stage, and loot stage. The goal of this video will be to briefly review loot stage. We'll look at how it's calculated, what it does, and how to increase it. I'll also touch on a few loot-related topics along the way. So let's begin. To start off, loot stage is influenced by your character level. Then, there are several bonuses and modifiers that are applied, and these can fluctuate widely depending on the situation. Let's start by investigating some of these variables. First, we have Biome Modifiers. The biomes have each been assigned a difficulty rating, and you can see this on the top right corner of your screen. This means that the worst loot is seen in the forest biome, and the best loot is seen in the wasteland. The Biome Modifier is both a multiplier as well as a flat addition to your game stage. So, for example, the snow biome will double your loot stage and then add another 20 on top of that. And you can see the bonuses in other biomes on your screen right here. Similarly, points of interest have modifiers. The higher tier the POI, the more your loot stage increases. The wilderness will be your baseline since there is no bonus there, but in a tier 5 POI, you'll receive a hefty bonus. The POI tier modifier is a flat addition of +3 and an additional +5% to your loot stage per tier of POI. So in a tier 3 POI, that's +15% and a flat +9. In a tier 5, that's +25% and a flat bonus of +15. Note that remnants and traders count the same as a tier 1. And next there are item modifiers. This includes eye candy, which is a 10% increase and a flat +5 bonus, and there's lucky goggles, which come in 3 variants and can increase your loot stage by +3, 4, or 5. Then there's Lucky Looter, a skill under the perception attribute. It will increase your loot stage by 5% with each point taken, up to a total of 25%. I always make it a point to let people know that Lucky Looter has very little impact in the early game. Sure, you can also benefit from the increased looting speed, but I personally don't think it's worth taking points into something when you can only reap half the benefit. Just as a quick example, let's look at a level 10 character in the forest biome with 2 points into Lucky Looter. Your loot stage will increase from 10 to 11. Now let's say you're level 60, you're in a tier 4 POI in the wasteland, wearing +4 lucky goggles, and you take an eye candy. Without Lucky Looter, your loot stage would be 237, but with those same 2 points, it's up to 259. And with 5 points, it's 291, which happens to be the maximum effective loot stage. Yes, even though your loot stage can appear significantly higher in the core character stats menu, the loot table only goes up to 289, meaning you'll be getting the best possible loot at this loot stage, with higher loot stages having no additional impact. Here's a spreadsheet I made that visualizes the loot table. You can check this out for yourself, and there's a link for that in the description. The table is broken down into the 4 tech tiers, and I've listed some examples of items that are within those tiers so you can get a sense of what they are. As you can see, the quality will increase as you go down, and as you move across, you can see that the loot stage increases. The highlighted areas indicate the loot stage at which you will start and stop seeing items from each tech tier for each quality level. For example, the range in which you would see a quality 5 blue AK-47 is between loot stage 69 and loot stage 122. And you can see that from 289 up, you'll exclusively be finding legendary quality 6 purple items, since everything else will have dropped off the loot table. Of course, these numbers are subject to change with each update. But that is loot stage in a nutshell for you, so now let's touch on some related topics. Many skills will now influence the loot you find thanks to the new crafting skill magazine system. Let's look at Deadeye specifically as an example. Each point taken into Deadeye will multiply your chances of finding Rifle World magazines and sniper books by 2, up to a total of 10. This doesn't mean that more magazines and books will spawn in the world. It just means that when you do find books and magazines in loot, they're much more likely to be rifle related. Once you've read the entire sniper book set or maxed out the Rifle World magazine set, You might still find them in loot, but you'll no longer have that increased chance due to your Deadeye skill. Additionally, Deadeye points will also increase your likelihood of finding rifles, rifle parts, and 7.62 ammunition in loot. And the same will be true for all the other perks and their related books, magazines, parts, and ammunition if applicable. There's an additional loot stage bonus for opening specific containers. For desk safes, wall safes, and gun safes, expect to get a plus 5% and a flat plus 6 bonus. And the same bonus applies to all 5 of the end of dungeon loot chests. But the best bonus applies to police cars with a plus 5% and a flat plus 10 bonus. There are 7 lucky looter books, each of which will increase the quantity of the indicated item by 20%. And in addition to tools and weapons being loot stage dependent, as we went over on the spreadsheet, there are several other specific loot items that can vary with loot stage. Things like food, drinks, medicine, and clothing have the same drop rates regardless of loot stage, but higher loot stage will increase the amount of ammo you find. You'll be more likely to find rare mods like drum magazines and full auto mods, rare parts like 4x4 and gyrocopter pieces, and rare schematics like the supercharger and supercorn recipes. And maxing out Master Chef will allow you to loot food items out of dumpsters, including canned food, meat, eggs, and murky water. When it comes to multiplayer, loot stage is shared amongst party members, but I'm unclear on the specifics of how party loot stage is calculated, whether there's a proximity effect, or if there's a diminishing returns effect like there is in the party game stage calculation. My testing was all over the place and results were unpredictable, but what I can say is that you can always check your loot stage in the core character stats to predict your loot from there. Speaking of predicting your loot, if you download the Excel spreadsheet that shows the loot table, there's also a loot stage calculator that I built in there. Just input your level at the top and select your biome, POI tier, and other bonuses from these drop-down menus, and you'll see your predicted loot stage. Full disclosure here, it's not 100% accurate. I believe the game probably rounds to the nearest whole number for each operation in the formula, whereas my calculator uses decimals, but the margin of error is less than 1%, and I think it's fun to plug in numbers and see what kind of a loot stage you can get under various circumstances. Have a look. Again, the link is in the description for you to download that. Anyway, my friends, that'll do it for my loot explanation video. I hope you have a better understanding of the complex mechanics behind loot in 7 Days to Die, and I'll see you hopefully in the next video. Take care, everyone. Hey everyone, I just wanted to say thank you for watching, for leaving a like, but most of all, thank you to the long list of amazing supporters that you see right here. I hope this episode has earned your subscription, and I can't wait to show you the next one. Best wishes to all, and goodbye.